the left hand of God. We have stepped into the fire. We have looked into the skull cup. We have seen the men who eat the dead to prove that life and death are one. But the story of the Aghori does not end with the ash. If part 1 was about the philosophy of filth, the breaking of the human ego, then part 2 is about the reconstruction. Once the ego is shattered, once the fear of death is gone, what replaces it? Power. Raw, unfiltered, terrifying spiritual power. In the shadows of Varanasi, beneath the banyan trees of the cremation grounds, the Aghori is not just a scavenger. He is a sorcerer. He is a practitioner of the oldest, most dangerous form of spirituality known to man. He is a master of Tantra, the path of the left hand. To the uninitiated, the word Tantra brings to mind sexuality. But in the world of the Aghori, Tantra is technology. It is a method of manipulating cosmic energy. There are 2 paths in Hinduism. The first is Dakshinachara, the right-hand path. This is the path of the sunlight. Temples, priests, vegetarian food, prayers for health and happiness. It is safe. It is slow. The Aghori walks the Vamachara, the left-hand path. This is the path of the shortcut. Imagine a mountain. The right-hand path winds slowly around the base, taking lifetimes to reach the top. The left-hand path climbs the sheer cliff face, straight up, through the storm. It is faster, but if you slip, you do not just fall. You are destroyed. The tools of this path are known as the Pancha Makara, the 5 M's. Madhya, alcohol; Mamsa, meat; Matsya, fish; Mudra, parched grain; and Maithuna, sexual union. In Orthodox society, these things are distractions. They lower the vibration, but the Aghori uses them as fuel. He drinks the alcohol not to get drunk, but to test his focus. Can he remain divine while intoxicated? He engages in the taboo not to sin, but to burn the sin in the fire of his awareness. It is like handling high-voltage electricity. For the prepared, it powers the city. For the unprepared, it stops the heart. The goddess of the graveyard. We cannot speak of the Aghori without speaking of her. Shiva is their father, but the cremation ground belongs to the mother. They call her Shmashantara. If you saw her, you might run in fear. She is depicted with blue skin, wild hair, standing upon a corpse, laughing as blood drips from her mouth. Why worship a monster? Because the Aghori knows that she is not a monster. She is nature. She is time. She is the force that gives birth, and the force that eats its own children. She is the terrifying reality of the universe that we try to hide from. The Aghori does not hide. He sits in the lap of the mother. He worships her in the dead of night, offering her the things society rejects: liquor, meat, ash. He asks her for Siddhis, the burden of power. Siddhi means perfection. In the context of the Aghori, it means supernatural power. These are the stories that are whispered in the tea stalls of Varanasi. There are tales of Aghoris who possess Vak Siddhi, the power of the tongue. Whatever they say, becomes reality. If an Aghori blesses you, you might find a fortune the next day. But if you insult him, if you disturb his meditation, and he curses you, the ruin is swift. There are stories of Trikaldarshi, the ability to see the past, present, and future simultaneously. There are tales of Aghoris who can read your mind before you speak a word. But the true Aghori knows that these powers are traps. If you use magic to get rich, you are back in the trap of the ego. You have failed the test. The true Aghori uses his power for only 2 things: liberation and healing. The doctor in the dust. It is a strange irony. The man who lives in the place of death is often the last hope for life. When the doctors say, "There is nothing more we can do," the desperate families come to the ghats. They look for the Baba with the wildest eyes. The healing rituals of the Aghori are not for the faint of heart. They might beat the patient with a peacock feather broom to drive out negative spirits. They might give the patient sacred ash to eat, ash collected from a fresh pyre. They might shout, scream, and terrify the sickness out of the body. Science cannot explain it, but the locals will tell you, it works. It works because the Aghori channels an energy that is not his own. He becomes a hollow bone, and the power of Shiva flows through him. He does not care if you live or die. He has no attachment. And paradoxically, that total detachment is what allows the miracle to happen. The Great Gathering. If you want to see the Aghoris in their full glory, you must wait for the Kumbh Mela, the largest gathering of humanity on earth. Millions of pilgrims converge on the holy rivers. And leading the procession, covered in ash, naked and fearless, are the monastic orders, the Akaras. Among them, the Aghoris descend from their caves and their cremation grounds. For a few days, they are visible. They smoke their chillum. They perform feats of endurance, standing on one leg for years, or lifting heavy stones with their genitals. They do this to show the power of yoga, to show that the body is just a machine, and they are the masters of the machine. But look closely. Even in the crowd of millions, the Aghori is alone. He looks through the tourists taking photos. He looks through the politicians seeking blessings. He is looking at something we cannot see, the final secret. So, at the end of this journey, what have we learned? Is the Aghori a madman? A saint? A relic of a barbaric past? Perhaps he is a mirror. When we look at him, we see our own fears. We see our disgust. We see our attachment to our bodies, our expensive clothes, our comfortable lies. The Aghori has stripped it all away. He has done the hardest thing a human being can do. He has accepted the totality of existence. He accepts the rose, and he accepts the thorn. He accepts the wedding, and he accepts the funeral. He teaches us that if you want to find God, you cannot just look in the light. You must be willing to walk into the dark. You must be willing to sit in the fire until there is nothing left of you but ash. And in that ash, you will find the diamond. As the smoke rises over the Ganges, the Aghori closes his eyes. He raises the skull to his lips one last time. He is free.